Lord Jesus. Thank you. Sister Shantavia, are you on the line?
Good morning. That was a beautiful song, sister. Yes, I am. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, women empowered to soar.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I am here and I am happy to be here. So today we're going to be discussing again, cleansing the physical to get to the spiritual. And what does that mean? I am so happy to be back here on the line with everyone. And I would love to, my purpose on today is to break down exactly what it means and how important and intentional we must be to cleanse our physical in order to expand and get to the spiritual. So we're going to open it up today with, again, introducing myself. Shantavia Gill. I am a bachelor's degree registered nurse with over 15 years in the medical field. And in that time and 15 years of experience in the medical field, I have gained experience in IMCU, medical surgical, oncology, orthopedic and joint, and renal. And in that time, as I was taking care of my patients, I come to realize that a lot of them, such as myself and a lot of healthcare professionals, they regurgitate and they live a lifestyle based on modern Midwestern culture. And that is with us, of course, going to our physician, having our annual physical, and then if we are diagnosed, we take our medications as prescribed. But many of us are not privy to the foundation of health, which is the way God actually intended for us to live, which is fruits, vegetables, and the phytonutrients of the herbs, Now, full disclaimer, as I'm going through this, I am not medically diagnosing anyone. I am not a clinical physician, nor would I tell you not to take your medicine, nor would I tell you not to go and see your physician. But what I am doing is educating you on other alternative measures that I want you to start incorporating into your life every day. And then just noticing the difference in your lifestyle, noticing the difference in your everyday living. So before I get into the education, I want to get into this scripture. And the scripture is Genesis chapter 1. So we actually go into the beginning, the very beginning. So on the 6th day, to be exact, it is titled The Giving of Food. So Genesis chapter 1, verse 29 to 31. And it read as so. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it is so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. In the evening and in the morning were the 6th day. So I want to ponder on that for a second. So as God was creating earth, we know he first created light, and then he created water and the animals of the sea, and then the land creatures and so forth. So before the 7th day, he made sure that we had fruits and herbs before we even had breath in our bodies. And I want us to know one thing. As we are all walking in our purpose, as we are all walking along this journey of life and trying to do the Lord's will, we must take care of his temple. We are his temple. We are here in the physical form. And in order for us to take care of his temple, this goes beyond spiritual. This goes beyond just us, reading the word and living in his word. See, because when you read the Bible is not just for reading, it's for living. You see what I'm saying? So as we are living his word, and as we are praying, and as we are fasting to enhance our spiritual, a lot of us forget the physical. A lot of us forget the physical because God put this fruit and these vegetables and these herbs on earth for us to have longevity and for us to be able to sustain life, to fulfill our purpose on earth. The longer we live, the more lives we can touch, the more souls that we could reach. And so in my last lives on here, I was discussing hypertension. We discussed diabetes, and I think we touched on cancer in the second online meeting. So with this one, I want to touch a little bit on hyperlipidemia, and I want to touch a little bit on the kidneys, okay? And so we can have a better understanding of what to do when we are taking care of our bodies. So before we are able to take care of our bodies, we must first educate ourselves on our bodies. We must first understand the importance of these fruits and the importance of these vegetables. And I'll just go for a brief synopsis here. The fruits and the vegetables are meant for healing. Fruits are for healing. They help to liquefy the body. What does that mean? It helps our bodies to not only hydrate and fulfill our bodies with phytonutrients and minerals, but it also helps for our bodies to detox. The vegetables are meant to rebuild the body. They are to restore the body. And then the herbs are meant for us to get rid of any toxins that our body contains from the environmental things that are out of our control, like polluted water, like polluted air, like polluted foods if we do ingest something that was polluted. So that is what the herbs were meant to be there for, okay? So when we're talking about the kidney, I know a lot of people, I want to be very specific. We're talking about like UTIs, renal disease, chronic kidney disease, or just simply not having the proper pH balance. Let's go down to something that's very simplistic, which is the pH balance. If our proper body's pH is off, especially when our kidneys is trying to filtrate, it's gonna cause issues with the kidneys, meaning that it can cause things such as a UTI. And a UTI is a urinary tract infection. That is an infection because of too much bacterial growth that has been backed up and contaminated our kidneys and our nephrons. So it causes an infection, and it can have signs and symptoms such as burnings, urination, itchy, vaginal or pineal gland, and it can also cause back pain because the kidneys are actually positioned towards your left and right side of your back. So it can cause back pain. If that is left untreated, it can lead to more severe disease causes. It can lead to kidney stones. It could lead to acute kidney injury because now your kidney is working overtime trying to regenerate and rebuild itself and release those toxins. And when you overexert yourself, you're going to tire yourself out more quickly. And then from there, it leads to something called chronic kidney disease, meaning your kidneys has been malfunctioning for greater than 6 months. And so now you have a chronic kidney disease. And when you get there, sometimes it's irreversible. And then you end up on a machine, something called dialysis. But what if I told you there was a way that we can make sure that none of this happened with just simplistic education, with just simplistic knowledge? Our kidneys can be filtered through fruits like berries, like melons, like apples, like grapes, and cranberries. Cranberries to be exact. Water hydration helps to filtrate the kidneys. I cannot begin to tell you how many adults I know that do not believe in drinking water, or they say that water is nasty. And my rebuttal to them is, if you so choose not to drink water, and specifically, I would recommend spring water. Spring water because it's not manufactured with minerals, and spring water because it's the most natural form of our water, and because it is more compatible with our hydrating blood types, intracellular and extracellular. That's the reason why I would recommend spring water. And so I asked them, what about coconut water? Then why don't you drink the coconut water? And they don't like the coconut water. So then my third rebuttal is for them to eat your water. What do I mean by eating your water? Well, let's get into it. What I mean by eating your water is eat fruits that are 95% plus water, like your watermelons, like your cantaloupes, your honeydew melons. That's what I mean when I say to eat your water. And that is H3O2. We all know about H2O, but we don't know about H3O2. And that is the water that you can eat if you don't like to drink the spring water. So at least eat your water. That will help to filter your kidneys. That will help to keep your kidneys electrified. That will boost your kidneys' nephrons and the neurons of the kidneys, your adrenal glands of the kidneys, your potassium and sodium pump of the kidneys, and it would eliminate a lot of these disease processes. Now, of course, you're still going to go through your annual checkup. Of course, you're going to still consult with your physician if you have an issue. But we're talking about preventative measures here. We're talking about the basics here, how to prevent yourself from even having any kidney issues. And the first sign is strong urination. It shouldn't have a strong odor. Your second sign is darkening of your urine. So pay attention to your urinary characteristics, such as odor, such as the color, how much you are urinating, if you start to see your urine decrease. These are some things I absolutely would tell you to go see your physician about. But before we even get to that, proper hydration, eat your fruits, such as your melons, your berries, like cranberries to be exact. And like I said, increase your water intake. The second thing I wanted to talk about on here, well, before I even get to the hyperlipidemia, I want to stay on the kidneys because we talked about some of the fruits and the vegetables that help with our kidney filtration. But now let's talk about some herbs that help with our kidney filtration system. And these are things that you can grow. You can grow these herbs. It is not difficult. You go find a seed. You go to your local farmer's market. You go to your local herbal store, and then you purchase these and start growing them now. That's just my most professional and spiritual advice that I would give anybody. Start growing it now. Now, some herbs that you can grow are self-heal, water plantain, holy basil, milk thistle. And they even have some herbs that you can buy at the grocery stores like fennel. That's Fennel. I love to cook with fennel. Fennel is very important when you're talking about breaking down kidney stones and preventing kidney stones. What about inflammation of those nephrons? Bearberry is beautiful when it comes to nephritis, meaning the inflammation of the kidneys. And if you want to strengthen your kidneys, you know those dandelions. And this is one that I just absolutely love because it opens up those nephrons and it filtrates the kidneys like no other. Those dandelions that are in your backyard that we spray we spray pesticides on every year. Do you know that those dandelions are actual herbs that you can eat, that they are edible? Especially the dandelion leaf. It puts you in the mind of spinach, like the spinach family. So if you cook with the dandelion's leaf, I just encourage you to just try it once. So dandelions, greater burdock. Greater burdock is another. Greater burdock is another that grows right in your backyard. Mullein is one that grows right in your backyard. And I'm saying this to say, I'm going to give you guys a little tip. I would like for you all to download this app. There's this app called PlantNet. That is PLANTNET. PlantNet is an app that you can take a photo of any flower or plant or tree or a fruit or a vegetable, and it will be able to identify exactly what it is and then educate you on the medicinal use of that. So I encourage you to download that app. And so when you're in your backyard and before you start spraying the chemicals on those and killing them, I highly encourage you to do your education and do your research first, because it just may be the very thing that could save your life. The next thing I want to get into is high cholesterol. And I take my time to educate those on this because as adults, we're all capable of learning every single day. And this is very simplistic education. It's just the fact that we don't know. It wasn't taught. That's simply all it is. Everything that I am teaching you, I learned on my own. You see what I mean? Of course, I went and got certified for herbalism, but these are all basic life education. The same way you learn how to walk and the purpose for walking, the same way you learn how to put a spoon to your mouth. These are things that I feel like children should be learning as they're getting older as well. As they're learning their ABCs and their numbers and they're learning their colors and shapes, these are basic essential life knowledge that I think that we should start teaching our children at around that age as well, the importance of their body. And so I take my time out to educate adults because it starts at home. The more the adults know, it can trickle down and then they can teach the youngins, their children and their grandchildren, their nieces and their nephews and great nieces and nephews. So that is why I do what I do. Now, let's get into high cholesterol. Now, in my research, and these are scholarly research, these are scientific based research, and these are my own studies as well. Hyperlipidemia, that's high cholesterol. And a lot of us, when we go to the doctor and we get our blood drawn and they take our cholesterol level, they tell you about the HDL, that's your high density, and then your LDL, that's your low density. And we're talking about the amount of fat that is in your blood, okay? Now, we all are taught that, and let me go to, so we all are taught that the LDLs, the higher the LDLs, that means the more fat that you have in your blood vessels. The more fat in your blood vessels can clog your arteries. Now, these are all true. These are all facts. However, what I would like to interject into that with the knowledge is LDLs and HDLs are part of your lipid system. So if you just get rid of the acid, it's acid buildup. And I'm saying that because when we hear the word fat, we automatically go to, okay, fat and greasy foods, fried foods, red meat. And that is true. And then some people will change their diets around and they'll stop eating the meat. They'll stop eating the fried foods and they'll lower their fat level in their body. But what I don't see in my years of experience, when I'm in there with the physicians or the nutritionists, I don't see them talking about just keep it simplistic. It is acid buildup in your body. If you get rid of the acid in your body, then your lipid levels will decrease, which will further decrease the fat buildup in your arteries, which will further decrease your risk of heart disease, such as congestive heart failure or atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis meaning hardening of the arteries. Now, what's causing acid? That's the next question. Well, we already know meat. We already know fat and greasy foods. We already know fast foods, restaurants, it isn't real food. We know it's manufactured and man-made. But a lot of us don't know that a lot of dairy is high in acid. It's high in uric acid. So your cheese, your meat, your yogurt, that is high in acid. There are certain fruits that may be high in acid. And so we have to teach you the basic. Instead of saying fat, get rid of the acid. You get rid of the acid, then you will have a better chance of having a lower lipid level. You see? So pay attention to what fruits and vegetables are not so acidic, and then you will focus on those fruits and those vegetables. You would increase your water intake and put your body into a more alkaline state. Because when you in acidosis, when your body is in acidosis, you're leaving room for not only for diseases to occur, but you're leaving room for mucus to build up. And mucus is actually a defense mechanism. Mucus buildup is there to suffocate the acid, because the mucus is not acidic, it's alkalinic. So it's kind of like you're throwing an extinguisher on a fire. So when you have mucus buildup, and then you go to the doctor and they give you mucus suppressant medications, it's actually stopping the the body's natural defense mechanism. And so you're going to start having mucus buildup, and that's going to come with other inflammation and sinus issues. And it's going to come with, like I said, heart issues. And so to prevent all of that, just get rid of the acids. You want to make sure that you eat foods that are high in amino acid structures, like broccoli. You want to make sure you have green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables could also assist with cleansing out your blood, and it's a vitamin K factor. You want to have some herbs such as red clover. And again, you can grow these herbs. Cranberries is another fruit. Red mulberry is another fruit. Natural maple sugar. Natural maple sugar can help prevent heart disease and lower the cholesterol. I'm going to give you another herb that we all love. We all love garlic. I love garlic. Milk thistle. Leeks. Leeks is very astringent in amino acids, and it decreases your cholesterol. And one thing I think that we don't pay attention to is our mushroom kingdom. Turkey tail mushrooms. Lion's mane mushrooms, reishi mushrooms. These are all foods that you can grow. These are all foods that you can get at the grocery store. And I tell people this because what you're doing is you're literally saving yourself not only physically, but financially. Because let's face it, medicine can be expensive. Medicine can be extremely expensive. Doctor bills can be expensive. Going and get diagnostic studies can be expensive. And so if you go to the grocery store, your local farmers, or you start growing this stuff on your own, and you start educating yourself on your own, you're saving yourself a lot of stress, a lot of finances, a lot of physical disability and disharmony, and your body being not being within homeostasis, your body being imbalanced. And another thing that I push before when I have consultations, and for those who don't know, I do have my own herbal company, holistic healing company. I won't say herbal company, but it is a holistic healing, and it's called Yafa Shakoor. That's YAFASHAKOOR. And I started Yafa Shakoor when I was taking care of family members and friends, and like I said, in my studies, and they were coming to me with their hypertension, their cancer, their heart disease, kidney disease, I mean, you name it. And I was growing my own fruits and vegetables, and started making juices. I started making detox teas, and I was like, just try this, just try this. And I mean, the results were so profound. And not only were they profound, I was shocked at the fact that they was actually working. I was more surprised at how fast it was working, how quickly it was working. I mean, 2 to 3 months, detoxing 2 to 3 months off of red meats, off of fast foods, off of dairy, off of artificial sugars and just simply salads and, holistic healing and fruits and vegetables, detoxing, increasing your water intake and your sunlight, you will be amazed at how many of my family members and friends were going back to the physicians to get their lab work done, and their blood pressure, their LDLs, their HDLs, their liver panels, their renal panels. I mean, it was just amazing at how quickly their numbers were going back into normal state and their body was going back into homeostasis. And their physicians are asking them questions such as, what are you doing? They say, well, I just changed my lifestyle. I just changed my diet. And they were on 3, 4, 5, 6 different medications. And again, I would never tell anyone not to take your medication. But if your body is in homeostasis, then do you need it? And so that's for you and your physician to determine. Go get your annual lab. Go get your annual checkups. And then if it's determined that they're not needed or that you can titrate down and decrease your intake of medication ingestion, then that should answer your question for itself. I'll just say it like that. Another thing that that's what I was saying. I'm sorry. And so for those who have any questions on the line, I do take consultations, and you can visit my website for those consultations, yafashakor.com. We do take phone calls because some people call and they just have they just simply want to ask a question, and we are there to answer the best that we could because we need to make sure that we have your complete medical diagnosis before we recommend anything. But what I wanted to get into is one of the questions that I ask, and what I've noticed, and what I wanted to make sure that I made sure to say here on this line today is a lot of us adults don't know our blood type. And so when I ask the question, well, what is your blood type? They say, I don't know. I think I'm this. I think I'm B. I think I'm O. I think I'm AB. And I say, well, what's your Rogaine? Meaning, are you positive or are you negative? I don't know. I don't know. And I highly encourage every adult to find out your blood type. Find out your specific blood type. If you have children, find out your children's blood type as soon as you can. Why am I saying that? Why does that matter? Well, your blood type actually, your blood type actually determines and it plays a vital part in disease processes and where your body breaks down foods, fruits, and minerals. It also plays a vital part in how you absorb those fruits and vegetables and those minerals. Not every blood type can sustain the same diet. For example, let's say I have somebody call and they are type A blood type. Then I know that people with a type A blood type, they adapt more to a plant protein based diet than somebody who can digest a meat plant diet. Type A blood types, when I put them on, or we talk about exercise regimens, they thrive more. Their body breaks down toxins more with astringent exercises such as walking, running, jogging, whereas someone with a type B, their blood type exercise would be more of yoga and meditation, and that helps to detoxify their body just listening to those sound waves as they are vibrating your blood cells. And so it's important for you to know your blood type because you want to make sure that when you are eating a certain diet, you're getting the highest, most beneficial plan possible to help you reach and obtain your physical goal. So again, let's say for instance, if you are a blood type A diet, that is something that I will recommend. Something like lemons, pineapples, blueberries, dandelion, prunes, mushrooms, and those things help to control the balance, the microbiome, and then increase your cell viscosity. Now, somebody with a blood type B, obviously, regardless of the disease process, and let's say that mushrooms help with a certain disease process, but I know that with your type B blood type, let's say if mushrooms doesn't really work well with your blood type, then I wouldn't recommend mushrooms. I recommend molasses. I recommend cabbage. I recommend Brussels sprout. So these are some of the things that when we are talking about our health holistically, we have to learn our bodies and know our bodies down to our blood type and our intracellular level. Okay? So blood type is important. Knowing your physical, knowing how to take care of your physical is important. And what I mean by knowing how to is because maybe your blood type and the way your body, maybe your body preserve energy, it doesn't need strenuous swimming and running and jogging and you are hyperventilating, hyperoxygenating. Maybe you need to just sit down and relax, take a deep breath, deep breathe, do some diaphragmatic breathing exercises, meditation, yoga. See, so these are some of the things that you want to take into consideration when you are trying to cleanse yourself physically and take care of yourself physically. Another thing I want to get into when we're talking about the physical is fasting. And they say, well, what is the importance of fasting? Now, spiritually, we all are saved and we all on this line. We know fasting helps us get be able to hear God more clearly, and it helps us it draws us closer to God. But when I ask, okay, but how though? How does that work? That is where people pause and they say, I don't know. I just know when I don't eat, I can hear his voice clearly. And you're absolutely correct. You are 100% correct. And then that is when I come in and I ask them, well, do you mind if I tell you how? Do you mind if I break down how that happens? And then they say, yes, I don't mind at all. And then when I tell them this, it helps better their understanding of why it helps with them spiritual. So I'm going to tell you guys this on this line. When you fast, well, let's go back to anatomy and physiology. Your brain, when you're born and you're an embryo in a womb, your brain is the first thing that develops. And then from that, if you look at the embryo, your spine is next. And then the abdomen. And so the abdomen is next because the abdomen has to feed. And the digestive system has to feed and nurture all the organs of the body. And so it feeds the brain first and it's nourishing the brain first so the brain can continue to work and your body can continue to develop. So now you're born into the world and now you're an adult or you're a teenager. And when you fast, you're giving your brain some time to relax, because when we consume food, and to be quite frank, and what I tell people is we really honestly supposed to be eating once, no more than twice a day. Once, no more than twice a day. And that is our fruits and our vegetables. And then we drinking water throughout the day. Because the fruits and the vegetables and the herbs is more than enough nutrients to help sustain your brain's ability to do what is proper, to complete its proper function, as well as your other organs in your body. And in your overall organ system, which is your overall body. And so you're supposed to fast because what you're doing is you're allowing your brain some time to relax. It's not worried about digesting food. And when when your brain has time to relax, you are strengthening the pineal gland in the back. And that pineal gland, that is the gland that helps you connect spiritually with God. That is the gland that helps your brain go into other spiritual dimensions. And then you're able to hear God more clearly. So that is why it's important to fast. And so when we fast and we read the word and when we're sitting quietly with God and we're spending time with him, we go right back to consuming all the bad foods, consuming the fats, consuming the processed foods, consuming all the fake sugars, and consuming the burgers and these animals that we're not supposed to be eating, honestly, and to be quite frank with you. And so we walking in our purpose and we are on our journeys to make sure that we fulfill God's needs. But every day that we put toxins in our body is a day that we're taking away from our purpose. If it's one thing that's inevitable is we all get older. We're all getting older. And we want to make sure that we have longevity. We want to make sure that we have quality of life as we get older. None of us want to get older and we can't even enjoy life because we're bound to a wheelchair, or we're bound to a bed, or we are incapable of feeding ourselves, or we're unable to. And I'm not saying this as if it's not going to happen. I'm saying you want to live as long as you could before that gets to that point. I know some 40 and 50-year-olds who are bound to the bed because of smoking, because of drinking, because of poor eating habits, and, and they're diabetics, and they have to get their legs cut off so they're sustained to a chair. So that's what I mean. I want to make sure I make that clear. I'm not saying you're going to live to 1,000 years old not needing a wheelchair. I'm saying you want to make sure that you have a quality of life for as long as you could, so that you can fulfill your purpose as you're walking in the word of God. And so I'm going to close it out with this scripture. Proverbs 12, verse 11 through 12. It says, "He that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread, but he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding. The wicked desire the net of evil men, but the roots of the righteous yielded fruit." And what I take from this verse is when it says that he that followeth the vain person is void of understanding. What I take from that is our God is very simplistic. We know that he doesn't come in confusion. He doesn't operate in confusion. Life is very simplistic. If it comes from seed, you're supposed to plant it back into Mother Nature, and you're supposed to grow your own fruits and your vegetables. And there's a lot of people who are just simply uneducated. They just void the understanding and the purpose of it. And so I go out and I make sure that I do this, because I do believe wholeheartedly that once we are educated on this, now you have a clear understanding. Now you can make a decision based off of you having that complete education and that complete knowledge, so you can make a well knowledgeable decision on how you choose to live your life and the lifestyle you choose to pass down to your children. And so if we just start gardening, or if we start eating a more healthier lifestyle, or at least just educating ourselves on the purpose of the lifestyle, then we can pass this down on to our children and fulfill our purpose a lot longer than what we're doing now today. So I thank Lady Linda Bellamy, and I thank the Women in Power